Hello, everyone. Hope you are doing great. Thanks for joining this session. I would like to confirm that you can hear me clearly. So if you can hear me clearly, please drop me a message and let me know that you can hear me clearly. Thank you, Humphrey, for your thumb up. Hello, so if you can hear me clearly, please drop a message. And beyond dropping a message, please let me know where you are connecting from. Let us know where you are connecting from. So let's connect while we are waiting for others to join the session today.
I'm back. Hello, everyone. Good evening.
Hello, Askin, can you hear me?
Yes, I do hear you. I do hear you well.
Awesome. All right, so actually the participants are trying to let us know where they're connecting from. We'll give ourselves some few minutes to allow other participants to join. So we'll start in a few. I will give you the ping.
Good. Okay.
All right, Eskinder, can you hear me?
Yes, I do hear you well.
Okay, great. So we can start. Maybe
Good.
for your intro, you can activate your camera, but later on you can switch off the camera to optimize the network connectivity so that we'll have a good connectivity throughout the session. So good evening, everyone. I hope you are doing great. My name is Mimi Christian, connecting all the way from Accra, but originally from Côte d'Ivoire. Part of the Project Management Institute team organizing these sessions for you, our esteemed candidates. So thanks for joining. We hope you are doing great and you are ready for this insightful session today, where we are going to talk about empower, negotiate, and deliver strengthening project success. So we have one expert today with us in the house. His name is Eskinder. He will take us through, this domain, these specific domains, for us to get more knowledge and more insight in preparation of our PMP. So I hope you guys are all confident for your upcoming exam. Maybe while the instructor will introduce himself and also give us the highlights for the session today, feel free to also drop in the comment section when you are, planning to write your exam. So this is also going to galvanize some, to encourage some, and also maybe you find a partner, maybe a praying partner, who knows, to also support you in that. All right, so without wasting much time, Mr. Eskinder, the floor is yours. You can
Good.
go
Good.
on.
Good. Thank you for the introduction and then welcoming everyone. So again, welcome everyone. It's my pleasure to be the guest on this panel, let's say, and I'm happy to meet you. And I will be providing you a brief introduction about the topic that's been assigned to me. So I will be a good asset. So I see at most 36 people from the different countries in Africa. So it's my pleasure to see all African peoples together under the single platform. And I hope you will all write the PMI PMP exam before July, before the change happens. So I think let's open our camera for facial introduction, then we'll turn it off to optimize the network as said. I think let's greet each other. I think let's have before I proceed. Please open your camera. Let's see face to face, and then.
Oh, okay. So asking, just give me a minute because to optimize the network, we disable the mics and the cameras.
All right. Okay. Just leave it. Okay. So
Okay,
it's okay.
Great.
Yeah. So we can proceed, I think. Yeah.
Sure.
So I think you will be able to see my screen, and I'm going to turn my camera off also for the optimization of the network. So hopefully you are seeing my screen. So I am Eskinder Masfin Chalnet. I am live and works in Ethiopia. Eskinder Masfin Chalnet. I am a PMP certified since 2016. I have been owning and running an authorized training partner company, Askibes Consulting PLC. It's an Ethiopian-based firm. We provide project management trainings for different sectors, for NGO, for the banks, for commercial and non-commercial, as well as government sector. So today I am here to give you the brief insight about 3 core topics of exam content outline. That is from the 2 domains. First domain, we'll talk about empower team members and stakeholders. Then another task we'll deal with under the domain 1, we'll deal with negotiating a project agreement. And also from the other domains, we will also see task 8, plan and the scope management. So I am Iskender Masfin. I said again, my email is there and my phone is there. I am available for any conversation over WhatsApp. So I'm popular. You can search me over the LinkedIn. Maybe I will share the LinkedIn profile later in chat box. So now let's proceed just to give you a highlight on what we will be expecting in going forward. Hope my voice is audible. Yes, my voice is audible, and then the screen is visible from your side. Please, if you have any comment or feedback anytime, raise your hands or write your comments in the chat box. So I will be happy to respond. So the maximum time we will spend together is 2 hours. So I think by 22 hours and we will finalize. Just before that, I will give you 30 minutes for the discussion if you have any question or feedback. So our topic is classified into 3 major parts, partly in 2 domains. So on the first domain, task 4, we are supposed to cover empower team members and stakeholders. So on this part, I will cover the topic of how project manager should empower team member, because a project without the team member is nothing. So the team members has to be empowered, leveraged, so that the project manager can use the maximum potentials available with the team member. So there are strategies that will be required by the project manager to be played so as to empower the team members. Also stakeholders, hopefully from the previous trainings, that the stakeholders are a part of the project teams. They are individuals, group of individuals, institutions who have the capability or to affect the projects in a different way. They have their own stakes and interests in the project, so they should be managed. As we are dealing at these days, as we are dealing with a project that's not only deliverable, rather impactful project. So managing team members and stakeholder is one of the crucial things. So I will give you highlight on how to empower the team members and stakeholders. In doing that, we will be able to see how to organize the team strings, how to maximize the energy within the team members for the sake of delivery of the project and also achievement of project values. So we'll deal with that one. And also we'll see how we can, the project manager, support the team task accountability throughout the project journey. We will also see how to evaluate demonstration of a task of accountability. And lastly, we will deal with the best level of decision-making authority under the domain on task force. So under the same domain on task 8, we will also be able to explore one of the core point is negotiating the project agreement. So basically, the project throughout its lifetime goes through acquiring from the teams, acquiring resources. So in saying that, the project manager should be in a position to negotiate for the benefit of the project, acquire resources, and then develop agreement so that he will be capable enough for the delivery of the project. So in saying that, we will be able to analyze the bounds of negotiation for agreement. We will be able to assess priorities and ultimate objectives. We will be able to verify the project agreement is made, and then we will also participate in agreement negotiation as well as determine the negotiation strategy. This will be the core topic that we will be covering on while we move through the topics. And the last topic will be in the domain 2 of EOC, exam content ECO, PMBOK version 7, ECO, exam content outline. So under the exam content outline, domain 2 will be covering on a task 8. So task 8 deal with about planning and managing the scope. So we'll see how you can determine the project plans, how you can determine the project requirement, how you can decompose the project requirements, scopes, and to get the work breakdown structures and backlog. And finally, the last topic will be how you can monitor and validate scopes. So technically, these two domains, they are crucial. So under the first domain, domain 1, it's a people domain. So we'll be able to see two tasks, that is the task 4 and task 8 of exam content outline. And from the process domain, domain 2, we'll be covering on the task 8. So as said, I am Kinder Masfin again. I live and work in Ethiopia. I will be supporting you throughout the journey of these topics from Ethiopia. I am the founder of us and CEO of Skibase Consulting PLC. I am also the first founder of Ethiopian PMI chapters in Ethiopia. I was and also the currently running PMI ATP firm. So I have been certified since 2016. So I'm running for portfolio management professional. So hopefully I will write that one soon. So for those of you who are planning to write your PMP exam before July 2026, I wish all the best. I wish you good luck. Hopefully you will secure. I will be there to assist you. So if you need any further support and assistance, I am available over my contact on WhatsApp. I'm available. You can link with me in LinkedIn. I will give you the link. So in saying that, if you have any question, anything you would like to say, any comment, please feel free to share it over the chat box. I will be able to address it. So now let's go straight dive into the topic. So in the end of the training, or in the end of the course session, so I will share you the slides so that it will be beneficial to you. So let's start from the first domain. That is the first domain is all about the people management. So under the task 4, it's all about empowering team members and stakeholders. So we'll cover all of the topics. So just I will do cover some of the very relevant topic before I deep down into the team empowerment and stakeholder empowerment. So let's talk about the domain 1 first. So basically, this domain 1, it's a people domain, technically in exam content outline of PMOOC version 7. It will accountable about 42% of the exam. So it has a huge value in the exam. That means you have to study hard on these topics, and you have to understand every information within this domain, so that you will be able to tackle exam questions that will be appearing in your exam. So it's 42% of the exam questions will be accountable from this domain. So technically, this domain has several tasks under it. We'll be covering on task 4 and task 8. So basically, under this domain, it's called the people domain. Basically, it concerns about the skill and the methodology that will allow you to succeed as a project manager. So basically, you know that we have the core guide as a PMBOK project management body of knowledge, version 7. We also have version 8. Which the exam of version 8 will start as of July. And then the existing exam PMBOK 7 will expire according to the current exam content outline July. So hopefully you are ready to write for the exam before July. I wish you all the best. I will be there to assist you in your journey. So I think under this domain, what you need to understand where is that you need to have a understanding of the people element. That is the first thing, is that the leadership skill. So under these tasks, we are going to discuss about the leadership skill that's expected you to have while progressing under this topic. So hopefully, you know, leadership, you know what leadership is basically from your journey of the study. So as a project manager, you need to be the leaders, and you need to be a motivators, and you need to be a team builder. So that's what the current project manager is expected to be. So according to the new, the current and active exam content outline in PMBOK 7, you as a project manager, you will be expected to do so many interactions and communications with the people. So with the people means you have a project team, project management team, project team, as well as stakeholders, vendors, suppliers, partners with the different peoples. You will come across with these peoples. Then you have to have a good communication skills, your interpersonal skill, your team skill matters. So as a part of exam content outline, so you need to have a well capability of communication and interacting. In saying that, you need to be a good leader. Of course, from the management perspective, there are different model of the leaders. PMI acknowledge you to be the servant leadership. We'll talk about later on. You need to motivate the team against to move towards the delivery, to move towards the deadline, to move towards to the value generation, to move towards the value realizations, and you need to build your team. So building the team, it doesn't come easily. It comes through trust. You need to establish trust between the project team members. The project team member need to trust you, and you need to trust the project team. So how can you enforce types of trust? There are approaches. We'll go sideline later on. So you need to be approachable, very friendly, very communicable, and also sometimes when it's required, then you need to be influential. You need to influence team members to switch towards to the project realization ideas and topics. And also in the end, you are expected to be an active listener, effective listener, because so many ideas, so many thoughts will come to you. So you need to be an effective listener. So you have to listen to the team. You have to listen to the project management team. You have to listen to the vendors. You have to listen to the stakeholders. You have to listen to all the personnel individuals who will be involved in this project. So your job as a project manager in the end is to orchestrate and facilitate success. Yes. So you need to orchestrate and you need to facilitate success so that every member of the project management team should exhibit their expertise towards the achievement of the project objective. So I am going to underline you as a project manager, your role, your expected role will be to orchestrate and facilitate the success of other experts in your yields, in your fields. So if you do that, then you are exhibiting the leadership skills. So hopefully, so far things are clear. As said earlier, if you have any question, you are most welcome. So you need to have a good leadership skill. The exam content outline, domain 1, will ask you a lot of about your leadership characters, your leadership behavior. So as I said earlier, this part, domain 1, it's a people domain. It's accountable about 40% of the total exam value. So you, the project manager, you are the sole person. The power has been given to you by the project charters. So you need to take the opportunity. You need to take the chance you are given through the charters into the achievement of the project objective. In order to achieve the project objective and the project deliverable, as well as project visualizations, then you have to have people management skill. One of the core requirement people management skill is your leadership skill. This leadership skill will help you to manage conflict that will be appearing in a project. Conflict is inevitable, it's natural, it's expected. It's an opportunity for the project manager to manage, and it shall be managed conflict managed throughout the project journey. So as a project manager, you need to devise the mechanism where you will be able to manage your projects. So this domain, I said earlier, the people's domain. So I will give you the skills and the behavior, the character, the personality, the skills that you need to have in leading and managing the project. So people domain 1, deals about these people's skills. So technically, there are two overlapping concepts. We have management and leadership. This has been in various training. I have been engaged with the different peoples. It come across to the point of conflict that some people conflict management with leadership, leadership with management. Hopefully, I will take some minutes to clarify this point, and it should be clear in leading the people element of the project. So as said, you are the project manager and you are expected to lead, to show the leadership skill, to exhibit your leadership behavior and character over the team and then the stakeholders. So in saying that, the leadership is all about empowering the people. Who are the people? The stakeholders. Who are the people? The project teams. Who are the people? Project management team. Who are the vendors? Different stakeholders. So you need to focus on empowering, leveraging the potential, the capability of individuals, those are involved in a project. And so in that, we say that you are exhibiting the leaderships. So in a conventional way, management focus about tasks, the actual tasks that's assigned. So management is basically ensuring that the task or the thing is done effectively, while leadership is making sure that the peoples are empowered, leveraged to deliver the right output and expected outcomes. So management focus about controlling the task, controlling the task to be delivered according to the specified parameters. Whereas leadership focus about empowering the people, providing trainings, then cultivating the potentials, the opportunity that is being visible in the people, delegating, and then empowering the people to exercise the power, the skill they have. That's what we call leaderships. Whereas management focus on efficiency of the task, whereas leadership focus on effectiveness of the delivery performance of the individuals who will be involved. Whereas management focus about doing the task right, while the leadership focus about doing the right things. So the other things are very clear. Management wants you to do everything to deliver the task in a speedy manner, whereas leadership give you an insight, a better direction, so that you can follow that direction using the basic and universal principles that are provided. Whereas the management will give you commands of how to do, whereas the leadership will give you the directions and communications. So in saying that, this is a very critical thing that you need to differentiate. Maybe in the next slide, I will give you exercises, just 1 or 2 minutes, to rehearse with what will be management and what will be the leadership. But from the exam content outline, you as a project management lead, you as a project management team, or as prospectus for the exam according to the exam content outline, you need to have the leadership skill. So let me give you 2 to 3 minutes. Please review the list of 8 statements that in the screen, and I want you to categorize whether it's management or leaderships. If you clearly understand what I've said, I have placed the answers on the bottom. You can, for a simplicity of understanding, you can align it, but just for the sake of understanding. So please take your time, skim and scan from 1 to 8, and classify them whether they are the leaderships or whether they are management skills. So I will give you some few 1 or 2 minutes. In the meantime, if you have any question, you are welcome. So I'm seeing comments. So I'm seeing Arain, I think he writing on April 16. I wish you the best of luck. John, he's writing in April. Best luck again. Hope you'll secure it. You will write it. So give me some reaction over the chat box if you are listening and actively following. Give me reaction on the chat box. Let me see your reaction on the chat box. Reaction or just thank you, Abigail. Good, Yvonne. Good, good. Thank you, Bogal. Ayuba, wish you a best of luck. Everyone is running April. April is a, yes, again, Francis is running to write in April. Wish you all the best. Wish you all the best. So hopefully, I think this will clarify. It just so the human resource management is a day-to-day human resource management. It's all about management. So when we see about something that you see strategic, something that talk about direction, something that talk about strategy, something that talk about recognition, award, etc., team management, empowerment, brainstorming, effectiveness, something like that, then turn your mind towards leaderships. Whereas something that talk about commands, something that talk about doing the right things, then focus on the management. So from the different leadership skills that are written in the different management domains or different psychological books and scholars. But PMI, Project Management Institute, acknowledge servant leadership. So what does servant leadership mean? So in a traditional hierarchy of leaderships, so the leader has authority. The leader has authority. It's basically emphasis on the authority of the leaderships in a conventional leadership. But with the servant leaderships, it empowers the leaders that they should delegate their powers. So it underlines the importance of, it emphasizes the importance of power delegation. So you need to delegate someone. That's how you exhibit leaderships. For example, if you move away from your office, maybe for annual leave or something, you delegate someone. That means you are sharing your powers. You are delegating someone to take your chair, to take your place, to exercise, to practice. And that's one part of servant leadership. So that will give them the other individual to perform on their own, to learn, to exercise, and something like that. So that's what we call servant leadership. So the reason why we need servant leadership is that the project manager, for the successful delivery of the project, then he needs to exhibit. He needs to exhibit servant leaderships. So one of the key questions that will be asked is that the project manager has to be a servant leader. So he should delegate everyone. He should delegate every team members. He should empower team members, team leaders, so that they can deliver the business value. So from the beginning of the project, ever since the project manager is assigned as a project manager through the project charters, then he should devise the mechanism in which he can delegate those powers. He can share his powers to other teams so that he will be fully in charge of the communication throughout the project. So in saying that, these types of servant leaderships will allow the team to exercise leaderships and also maximize team productivity so that they will be in a position to remove impediments, and then you will be supporting them throughout the project delivery. So whether the question comes in waterfall type, predictive or adaptive, so whenever there is a leadership, the concept for the term of leadership, please tailor your mind or think about servant leadership. That's how you just override the exam. So basically, there are 4 major duties that's expected as a servant leadership from the project manager. So the project manager has to make sure that project team members are on track. They are on track in the delivery of the project activities, in managing the conflict, in resolving risk, in managing the quality. They are on scopes, they are on quality, and also on budget and expenditure. So in saying that, this is one of the capabilities in which the servant leadership is expected. We expect no unnecessary interruption, and no unnecessary works are being added, and then we can see gold platings and scope creeping. So this should be one of the primary duties of the leaders while leading the projects and while exhibiting servant leadership. Second is that we expect daily stand-up meetings with the team members. So, when you are dealing with agile project management, then you expect daily meetings with the team members. Of course, we do have not that much daily, but in waterfall or predictive, we do have weekly meetings. In either of the meeting types, standing meeting types, we expect that the servant leaders to manage any impediments, any obstacles that's been protecting the team members from progressing as per the plan, so that they can comply and then with the plan and with the stated. So he should be in a position to remove any impediment. In doing that, he needs to exhibit his servant leadership. So the servant leaders will communicate with the project vision to the team members. So you see, one part of the servant leadership is that as a project manager, you are expected to exhibit servant leadership. By servant leadership, it's not only about the delegation, it's all about sharing the vision. So the project charter will empower you with the project vision. So that project vision has to be shared with the rest of the team, so that the project manager and the rest of the teams are in a good page, in a good directions, and then that will allow the project manager to exhibit the servant leadership characters. And the last duties that servant leadership should exhibit in a project is to give and avail everything that the team requires to be productive, and he should make sure that everyone is motivated. He should look for what he should have a well understanding of what motivates the team, so that they will be in a power leverage to deliver everything that's been expected. So basically, motivation comes from in the form of reward, in the form of compensations, in the form of support or encouragement. It's up to the project manager while exhibiting the servant leadership to pick which approach is relevant to the current project you are running. So the other thing of the people element that we expect the project manager or the project team need to have is the communication skills. So basically, think of a project who has no skill of communication. It's very difficult. So from the different PMI literatures, so at most 90% of the project manager's job is about communication. So communication is one of important part of the leaderships, and a project manager should be capable enough to speak the language of the project teams and then the stakeholders. You should have a clean flow of communications, undisrupted flow of communications with the project team as well as the stakeholders. He should be capable enough to listen. He should be a good listener, not only communicator. So when we say communicator, we don't mean that he should be the one who is speaking. We mean that he should speak, but he should also be capable to be a good listener. So you have to listen. You have to listen. There are people who want to exhibit their expertise. There are people who have much more experience in the domain. So a project manager should open his heart of listening. In saying that, you need to have different communication skills. So communication is one of the greatest things. For the project communications there are a different flow of communication. So information comes from the customer, sponsors, other stakeholders towards the project teams. We need to have two ways of communications. Basically, the project, there are less likely the communication should generate from the project team towards the customer sponsors, but usually mostly it comes from the customer sponsors and other stakeholders in the form of requirement. And there is a strong two ways interactive communication between the project team and the project managers, Scrum Masters, and the team leaders. And sometimes we do also have a project team has direct and indirect communication with PMO, portfolio and program managers. Basically, direct information comes from those portfolio program manager, PMO, to the project managers, and but not vice versa. So in saying that, this requires intensive communication skills. So you need to be capable enough to communicate. So basically, PMI acknowledge the different types of communication types. There are formal communications and informal communications. So both formal communications and informal communication could be written and verbal. So let's classify them. I think it should be, you need to have a clear understanding of what formal written, formal verbal, informal written, and informal verbal is. Basically, formal written are any document that the project generates are called any document, artifacts that the project generates are called formal written. They say the project chart is one of the first official document that's been generated from a project is a project charter. So project charter is technically, it's a formally written document. Project planning document, backlogs, those are formal written documents. Contract that's been signed by the project team, project leaders, and project manager, and vendors, and other contractors. Report that's been generated and delivered to the different stakeholders. These formal written, they can be in the form of physical paper or in the form of electronics. They can be, say, emails. They can be website. They can be publications, etc. So we call them formal written. And sometimes we may have formal verbal. So formal verbal is basically planned meetings, stakeholder briefing, stand-up meetings in the case of Agile, retrospectives, face-to-face meeting. Those are formal meetings. The meeting that you had, project manager meetings with the team, teams meeting, meeting with the stakeholders, just such types of meeting that we are currently doing right now are formal verbals. And sometimes we have also informal communication, basically informal written. So in some parts, our emails are treated as there is a conflict when it comes to email. Sometimes email is formally written in some sort of organizations, and in some sort of organizations, email may be informally written. Handwriting notes, just like small pieces of notes that you are taking right now from my lectures, those are informally written. Text message, instant message that you are placing, communicating with the team member, they are called formal writtens. And sometimes we have informal verbal. So like a discussion that you had during the lunch meetings, unscheduled meetings, where a meeting that you are having while going from the office, while driving, conversations at time, etc. They are called informal verbals. These are the different types of communication. They are there. It's been practical. It's been used in a different approach, but you need to make sure that which types of communications are officials in your project are also required part of the communication ways, or types. So basically, when we come to the communication method, technically, we have three different communication method. We have interactive communication, which is, we call it two-way. Say, I will ask you to respond for every information I have. If you have any question, you can raise your hands and you can stop me You can inject your question and I will respond and I will act. In that way, we can interact. That is one part of the communication method. So technically, as a servant leaderships, I expect you to be interactive, very much interactive with idea and thoughts. And also another communication method is push communication. I think you need to make sure to differentiate the push and pull communications, because as a part of the people's domain one, you need to make yourself sure that you have the capability to differentiate the push communication and the pull communication. Push communication, it's basically one-way communication where information is pushed from the source towards the recipients, and such types of push information, it has the difficulty of adjusting wrongly pushed message. So this is one method, and the other is pull method, where basically you can publish information on the website, on your website, and anyone with that information take it from that single repository. So in that context, we call it a pull. So the information is under your control. So when we come to interactive, it's a two-way. Feedback cycle is high. So if you want the feedback cycle between you and the team leaders, project management team, between you as a project manager and then stakeholders, then interactive is the best approach. Agile has a good interactive nature. And also sometimes you can use a push and pull methodology depending on your project types. So those are partly what we need to have before we move to the team development model. So basically, project has a team, project is delivered, project is achieved, project success is delivered through the team. So the team has to be developed, the team has to be empowered, the team has to be in a position where they can deliver values to the project. So in saying that, we need to create a high-performing team. That's the core objective of the project manager ever since he signed the charter until the closure stage of the project, is that he needs to be in a position to generate high-performing teams. So this is achieved basically through the leadership characters and behavior that's been exhibited by the project manager. So in order to have a high-performing team, you need to exhibit your leadership. You need to empower them. You need to work on motivating these individuals, these team members to deliver. You need to direct them to the position where they can perform to the expected level. So you need to maximize the potential that is visible within the team, so that they will be more than capable enough to deliver. They will be committed throughout the project. So team development models includes creating high-performing teams. So in the beginning of the project, maybe during the planning stage, as a project manager, as a part of the people's domain, you need to think of how you are supposed to create high-performing teams, how you can exhibit your leadership characters, how you can empower the team to be capable enough, commit enough towards the project success. So it's one of the crucial things that you need to address. But throughout the project cycles, when the project progresses through times, team members pass through the different stages. There are basically the different stage of team performance. Basically, part of your team may leave, a new part of your team may come up. A very high-performing team will have an issue in the middle, conflict in the middle that can hinder its delivery performance. So basically, you need to be capable enough to maintain a high-performing profile of your team. So you need to be capable enough to manage, to develop your teams. There are different models and process. So you need to exhibit your leadership. You need to be good listeners, and you need to create a safe team environment, so that the team can exhibit. So basically, from the Luqman's model, this is one of the psychological or management, human resource management model. Basically, it talks about the team formation. This is the cycle or the stage of the team. So We have forming, storming, norming, performing, and adjourning stage. So let me pause here. Let me come to you. So are you following? Please give me some flag. If you have any question, please say it on a chat box. Give me some flag. Give me. Let's applause. Let's applause. Let me see your reaction. Let me see if you are following. I am seeing 78 persons are following. Let you applause. Let me see your reaction. Let me see your reaction. Thank you, Anna. Let me see your reaction. Let me please make me good. Good. That will give me a power to see that how you are following. So as said earlier, the first part of the assignment which I'm going to present is domain one. Domain one, it's all about the people's domain. Exam content outline cover 42% of the exam question cover about these things. That's why I earlier talk about the leadership. I earlier talk about the communications, and here we are now on the team development stage. So when you are following me, make yourself at the position of project managers and think of how you can lead the team. Thank you, Todaj. I'm seeing a lot of Ethiopians today. It's my pleasure. So, these are the different stages that the team will follow. So, whenever you establish basically the teams that you are structuring to deliver value for the project will pass through this stage of formation. So basically, formings are basically creating your team. So as a project manager, when you are empowered by the project charters, when you deep dive into the planning stage, you are expected to establish your teams, and then your teams are in a forming stage. So what do the team do in the forming stage? It's all about self-introduction. Is understanding the power in you, knowing each other, and getting together under the single roof, and then sharing values, sharing missions, sharing vision is where you form at this stage. So forming stage requires you as a project manager to bring together everyone as a team. So once the forming stage is progressing well, we will be upscaled to the next stage of team formation. That's natural upscaling. We call it storming. So the moment you get to know each other, the moment you understand each other, you start to create disagreements among the people. Basically, this is a healthy disagreement with the people. It's managed. Conflict arises. Conflict is managed. Conflict is an opportunity. Storming is an opportunity for the project manager. So as a project manager, you need to devise the mechanism where you can see yourself to exhibit your leadership, communication, and interpersonal skill, so that you have to normalize these storming natures of the team formation into the next stage, that is norming. So at the norming stage, we expect the team to come together. Now, in the previous stage, it was storming. There was a lot of disagreement among team members. Naturally expected, it's expected, but this time under the norming, we expect the team to come together under the single roof, to come together for a common vision, for value delivery, for benefit realizations. So everyone will come together, everyone will speak the same language, everyone will have a common vision, everyone has a good understanding of the project. That means they are normalizing. They are now coming to the neutral stage. They are now working towards from the different polars into the manageable stage. So this is the stage where the project manager is expected to exercise his power to normalize the team. So you need to be capable enough to manage a conflict within the teams. So normalization is what we expect the team to exhibit. So under this stage, what we generate is trust among the team members. So assume to understand these things, assume in your day-to-day operations, assume that you are joining an organization. Let's say you are joining, let's say, you've been working in a company called Facebook, and now you are joining a company called LinkedIn as of April 1. Good day. So the first moment is that you'll be navigating from forming, storming, the norming stage. It's the moment you start the norming stage, you start to trust the process. You start to trust the team. You start to trust the project manager. You start to trust the project team. You start to interact with each other. You start to share resource. That's where the project is expected to deliver. So once you are on the normal stage, we expect you to perform. Here is the stage where the team exhibit their capability. This is the stage where the team starts to deliver the output, the outcome, the deliverables, the artifacts are generated on this stage. So this is the point where the project manager gives attention to team development, empowerment, cultivation. So this is the stage where you are performing, and then through the performing stage, the project start to deliver output, and then with outputs are delivered, then we start to realize the impact of the project. Once you finalize the performing stage, the last stage will be adjourning. So adjourning, basically the project ends and the team is disbands, then the project is at the stage of closure. So what are the challenges? These are the natural journey that any individual will move while joining the project. We expect the project team to normalize themselves prior to the project activity. That's a good practice. But basically, when the project teams are structured, they come from different background, different institution, different organization, different culture, different language. So they will flow. They will move from the natural stage of forming, storming, norming, and performing. But the project manager wants that you to act at the stage of the project manager want to make sure that you are performing in the right stage. So these are the stages that you are expected to deliver. So there is a cyclic nature. Whenever someone is going out of the project team, so the project team will go through this cycle. So assume that one of the team leader has left the project in the middle of the project. What will happen? The whole project team will get back to the forming stage. Whenever new teams join the project team goes back to the forming stage, the storming, the norming, and performing. So these are the stage that any team pass through. So it's understandable. Techman's model is a clear model, but you as a project manager, while working on the domain one and the people's domain, you need to create a strategy where you can maximize the team's performance capability. You have to retain the people. You have to make sure that you have the right people with you. You have the people you have on the project are performing on the right way. So while the project teams are moving from performing, from norming to performing, there are conflicts. Conflict is expected, but the way you understand the conflict is different. It should be different. From the exam perspective, from the exam content outline, conflict is natural, conflict is positive, conflict is opportunity, but in a conventional method of a project management, conflict could need to be avoided. Conflict will create a dysfunctional conflict caused this time in a PMBOK 7 exam content outline. With the current yet to expire exam content outline, we treat conflict as something that is inevitable. It can appear in every of the project management activity. So if we believe that conflict is inevitable consequence of the project interaction, it should be treated as a beneficial. It should be resolved. So in saying that it should be resolved, one thing we need to understand that you need to be in a position to manage conflict. That is, conflict should through openness. You need to work with the root cause of the conflict. You need to have a problem-solving capabilities among the team leaders. You need to have you need to manage conflict throughout the project through openness, through the root cause analysis. But basically, what are the cause of conflict? Conflict can appear with the different causes. Conflict in a project can appear with the different causes. Basically, these are the orders. The one that you see on the screens are the orders of conflict. Look, the 7. It's called personality. That comes from the PMI perspectives. Personality is given the least focus. Conflict cannot arise from the personality differences. Of course, it arises, but the priority that causes conflict in a project is scheduled. Realistics are it's been provided high probability of creating conflict. Project priorities, activities, which activity should come first, which activity should come second, which task has a dependency on the others. So those are project priorities, creates a high conflict within the project. Resource allocations, time, budget, human capital, technical opinions, administrative pressures, budgets, those are highly accountable for conflicts in a project. So as I said earlier, conflict is manageable. Conflict is an opportunity. Conflict should be managed. How? The project manager should exhibit his leadership, his servant leadership characters. Project manager should be open to the teams. There should be a clear communication modalities, strong communication among the team and the project manager. If there is a strong communication channel between the project team and project managers, then conflicts are manageable. Conflicts are manageable. But usually we assume the reverse order. We start from the personality. From the project management perspectives, personality is given the last. Personality is given the last. For the exam perspectives, you need to consider these the 7 orders. So personality is given the last priority when it's come to the conflict. So in saying that, how do you manage conflict? How is the conflict managed? So there are different conflict management methodology. So let me go with a different conflict management methodology that's been provided in PMBOK 7, as well as in exam content outline. The first model is collaboration. So you have a team.
Hello, Eskinder.
Yes.
Yes, Eskinder, Mimi here. Actually, we are currently tackling the conflict side, but we are still on the Tuxman ladder model of team formation.
Yeah.
Talking about the slide.
Yes. Okay.
Okay, sure.
So is my screen visible, right? So I'm fast tracking. So these are basically the different conflict resolution method which a project manager should use while dealing with the project. Since we are in the domain of the people's domain, when you are in a people's domain, conflicts are inevitable. Conflict should be managed. To manage the conflict, different approaches given. We have collaboration, we have compromising, withdrawal, smoothing, and forcing. Different conflict resolution method works for you in a different aspect, but when we come to PMBOK 7 exam content outline, what works is collaboration. What work best is collaboration. With collaboration, that means that you need to collaborate with the team members so that they can appear in a win-win solution. You need to work toward the root cause of the problem. That's how you solve conflict. Of course, it doesn't mean that the rest of the conflict management model is not working. It works, but it does not work with the project. What works with the project is collaboration. So for the exam purpose, whenever there is a conflict, look for collaboration, look for a problem-solving approach, look for the root cause analysis method, look for the win-win situations. So you may come up with different scenario that worked with you in your personal life, in your work environment, in your community, but the best one is collaboration. So that's the things. So once conflict is managed, the team will be in a good position to deliver. So as said, Team has to be organized. Team, whenever there is conflict, the conflict has to be removed and managed through the clear collaboration between project manager and the team. And the next thing will be to deliver and support. Basically, team has to perform. Team has to project manager has to build a team that can perform, and he needs to support the team to perform throughout the project activities. So how are we going to build and support the team? It's through the planning. So in the planning stage, you need to plan properly. You need to plan resources. By the resources, we mean the human capital, the team. You need to plan the team. You need to define a clear real role and responsibilities and authorities among the teams. We need to have team charters. Okay, so I see a question from Fana.
Yeah, asking. No, the issue is still about the screen. I don't know whether you can. I don't know whether we are still on the. Yeah, the screen is not moving.
Okay, all right. Let me. How about now? It's moving from my side.
Maybe try and stop sharing and share again.
Good, good. Okay, thank you. I thought. So let me reshare. Please flag me if you see build and support team performance.
Not yet.
Hello, everyone. Are you seeing plan resources part?
Hello, Eskin. On my side, I don't see your screen yet.
Maybe
I don't know whether others are able to see.
Can you see the resource part, please? Is it blank from the other? Okay, let me stop. I think let me reshare again. How about now? It says the screen is blank.
Yeah, still blank.
Let me log out and relog in again. That will help, I think. Okay, let me share. Please give me.
Yes, it's visible on my side now. Plan resources.
Good. Yeah, exactly. So good. I see flags. That means everyone is seeing it. Yes, good. Thank you. So please give us your feedbacks in the chat box. Give us your feedbacks. Any question that you have, you are most welcome to respond. I will be responding later on during our Q&A session. So basically, just to review what we have said, I think project managing the people, while managing the people in a project, you come across with a conflict. and conflict is naturally managed when it comes to the project. And then PMI, PMBOK 7, for the exam content outline, they provide you a clear direction of conflict resolution methods and models. So basically, there are different models, as said earlier, different models that you have been using throughout the journey. But for the exam purpose, we need to focus on collaboration. And that's how you should approach whenever there is a conflict. So also, conflict can rise from the different factors. Basically, from the project management perspectives, people think that personality is given high priority as a root cause for a conflict in a project. But from the PMI PMBOK 7 exam content outline, so they are the least prioritized objects when it comes to conflict. What's given high priority cause for conflict is a schedule. Whenever there is unrealistic schedule, they are given high focus of conflict, and that should be managed through the compromise, collaboration models. So in saying that now, let's move to the other section. So we have talked about leadership, we have talked about communication, we have talked about conflict while being in the domain one of people's domain, where 42% of the exam questions come from the people domain. You need to have a capability to manage the people throughout the project. So in saying that, one of the core areas which you as a project manager need to exhibit is that you need to manage your team, the project teams, interaction with the project stakeholders, interaction with the vendors, interaction with the project management team, interaction with the project teams in a clear and concise way. In doing that, you need to plan the resource. Hopefully, my screen is clear. I am on the planning resource slides. So give me a flag if you see these slides clearly from your side before I proceed to the next stage. So we need to think of good. Thank you. So we need to think of the role and the responsibility. So basically, as project manager, when you are given power by the charters, and while dealing with the planning stage, the first basic thing that you need to work around is that you need to establish the role and the responsibilities, as well as the required authority that should be cascaded to the team, to the different teams. So that has to be clearly defined. That has to be clearly planned throughout the planning phases. So unless and otherwise you have a clear role and responsibilities for the team, and team charter is there, and agreement between team members and the team leaders using the different types of RACI matrix, role and responsibility matrix will come later on. That should be done. So you need to plan ahead, and team members should know well enough what work package, what exact activities they are assigned to, for which package they are responsible, for which work activity they are accountable, for which work activity they are consulted or informed, so that you can arrange the team structures in that model. So basically, from the concept of how the project is structured, we have a functional project structure on one pillar, and one polar we have a projectized structure on other polars, and we have a matrix projectized nature in the middle. There are also the project environment you've been operating. This team structure has to be created and has to be there. So in order to plan these resources, that human these resources, you need to determine, you need to have an answer to these questions. So the very basic question is that, how are we going to do all this as a team? How are we going to deliver these all deliverables as a team, as one, together? So you need to have some governing mechanism. So you need to have a clear role and responsibilities. So as a project manager, whenever you are assigned as a project manager to lead the project, the first basic question that should come to your mind is that you need to devise, you need to strategize, you need to think of tactics, you need to think of a strategy, how we how are we going to do these things together? How are we going to realize the benefit? How are we going to deliver? Yes. Then who, the individual, the professional, the expert, that need to be on a team to deliver it. And then what activity should I do to be a good servant leaders on a project? These are the things that you need to think of, you need to address when you are planning. Then you have to think of also how you are supposed to lead the team. You have to devise, you have to strategize how you should lead the team, how you empower the team, how you make them to the position so that they can be in a position to deliver with the maximum effort. How are you going to train the team? How are you going to capacitate them? How are you going to build these teams, high-performing teams? How are you create a shared understanding among the teams? These are the core things. So while building the teams, the next thing is that when we go from the planning stage to the delivery stage, that team has to be supported. That means any obstacles, any issue that they are facing throughout the project, it should be managed. And you need to have a clear collaborations with stakeholders. You need to engage and support teams. You need to have mentoring session with the stakeholders. You need to have not only the intelligence, rather you need to have emotional intelligence to deliver and promote performance. So basically, your plan should have, you need to devise a plan. What are the different resources, human capital, material that will be required through the project, then they should be managed. You need to think of how you should manage. You need to think of how you bring someone, and you need to think of how you can capacitate, how you can empower that individual to deliver as per the plan. How you need to share your you need to have the mechanism how you can share your vision, how much quantity of that resource is required, and how long you require that resource. So this should be well written, well stated in your planning statements. Basically, your planning resource should come up with this responsibility assignment matrix. So you need to devise who is the primary responsible person for the delivery of specific task, who is the secondary responsible person for the delivery of this task. So this should be clearly stated in a responsibility assignment matrix. We call it RAP. And also you need to devise a ROSI matrix: responsible, accountable, consulted, and enforced chart. This is the chart that I like most in my most projects. So it gives me who is responsible for the activity, who is accountable, who's consulted, and who's informed. So basically, for active activity, the I part, the project manager will be informed, and also you need to have a clear work breakdown structure where the requirements are structurally formatted into the scopes. From the scopes, the deliverables are identified, and deliverables are chopped down, break down into the manageable component. We call them a work breakdown structure. Work breakdown structure give a birth to organizational breakdown structure. With the work breakdown structure, give you how or what type of team, what type of human capital, what type of resources required. It will give you how you can manage the organizational structure, what types of organizational theory should you implement in delivery of the project. So these are what we call planning the resource matrix. So basically, I will fast track. This is responsibility assignment matrix. It will give you who are the primary responsibility for activity, who is the secondary responsible activity, and also need to have team charter. Team charters are basically a document or agreement between the team lead and team members that clearly states who is responsible, who is accountable, who is consulted, who is informed for every activities. It contains a communication protocol between the team leaders, decision making and conflict resolution among the teams, and also ground rules whenever a thing is conducted. So basically, team charters are it's an agreement between the team leaders and team members project charter is an agreement between project sponsor and project manager, whereas the team charter is an agreement between team members and the team leaders. The content of the team charter is that it should have how conflict is resolved, how the meeting is gone, how frequent the meeting is gone, who is authorized to give direction, who is consulted, who is informed, and who will be the technical persons in a project. So basically, when the project progress, one of the core things that we need to deal with that the project manager should acquire resources. So in order to acquire the resources, the project manager should have the capability to negotiate and bring the best possible resource. He should be capable enough to hire employees, new staff, new project members. He needs to have acquire new resources throughout the project. He needs to outsource some of the project activities to the external parties. He needs to acquire JIT, Lean, and other methodology for the organization. He needs to manage risks whenever the resource become unavailable. So he should exhibit his negotiation capability. This is the second task that we are supposed to see in the people's domain. So while building the teams, the project manager's job will be to guide, manage, and improve interaction among team members. So the project manager should towards improving, creating trust among the teams, creating a clear and seamless interaction among the team members. And project manager should make sure that everyone has the shared vision. Everyone has clearly understood the project vision, the project achievable, the project impact, the project deliverables, and everyone should be clear with their role and the responsibilities. And project manager should also clearly incorporate team building activities throughout the project activity. That's how he manage the team motivation. He manage them to boost the team whenever they are having some sort of challenge throughout the project. So in saying that, the project manager has to manage the team. So managing the team will be the day-to-day activities. He should make sure that the activities are delivered as per the plan. He should make sure that resources are available for the delivery of the project. He should make sure that every required resources are in place for the accomplishment of the project task. He should make sure that every required resource are acquired through the lease or procurement. So those things are should be acquired. So in managing the team, the project manager should closely observe what's happening in the project, and evaluate and analyze the team performance through the different reports he's been receiving weekly, daily, and he's also exhibit his leadership, servant leaderships. He needs to mentor team members so that they can be empowered to lead. He needs to plan and facilitate training, career development. This is one part of them. The motivation. He needs to deal with issues whenever there is some issues happening. He needs to look for conflict as an opportunity to be resolved. He needs to exhibit a different conflict resolution technique, but the best one has to be incorporated. He needs to negotiate team members, enforce them, influence them so that they can be the part of the bigger team. He needs to adjust the plans. He needs to manage the risks throughout the project, and issue logs has to be tracked. This is what we do with managing teams, when we deal with the people. So saying that, the first part of the assignment in the domain one will be managing the people. The second will be, it's all about negotiation. So now we have finished the first task. So hopefully I took so much minutes on the first task because it's a wider topic. I will be fast tracking on the other topic. They are quite short and small. But if you have any question, please feel free to say. Let me know if you have followed my slide properly. Let me know if you are seeing the slides properly on the screen. Are you seeing the domain one task 8? Are you following? I can see 80 people in the following? If the screen is not visible at this moment also, hello?
Yeah, what is showing is supporting performance.
Supporting performance?
Yes, so now it has moved to domain 1, tax 8. Thanks.
Yes, okay, all right. So are you all seeing this? Maybe it could be the connection. Are you all seeing the same screen? Please give me your reaction. Give me your reaction. I need your reaction. Thank you, Jonathan. Thank you, Jonathan. Need your reaction, please. If you are following, if you are with me. Once again, thank you. I need your reaction. I need reaction. Yared, thank you. Let me see your reaction. Let me know. Let me see whether you are following or not. Let me see. Let me see on the screen your reaction, please. Just place any reaction that you have. You can clap. You can raise your hand or something. I will take it as you are following. Good. And more. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So, okay, now let's move to the next part. If you are seeing, now we are supposed to do the negotiation. So basically, as a part of people's management domain, the project manager should be in a position to negotiate and bring resource to the project. So you need to have a capability to negotiate for the resource and agreements. He need to prioritize and determine project objectives so that resources are acquired. So let's see how we can align with this. So at this stage, the project manager is expected to negotiate with resources so that the resource can be on board. So we need to create a win-win strategies so that he will have a clear understanding with team members and stakeholders. So in this negotiation stage, so basically the key focus will be how we can analyze the negotiation bounds, how we can prioritize objectives, as well as also how we can align our project goals and later on executing the project strategy. So in seeing that, basically, the project manager is the right person to perform negotiations. Basically, he needs to define the range. What are the minimum acceptable and the maximum acceptable values in terms of price, time, and scope? These are the three core things that a project manager will negotiate: price, cost, time, and then scopes. So that should be negotiated. There are a minimum price, minimum time, minimum scope, as well as at the same time we have maximum. That should be those are negotiable parameters. We have ZOPA, which is a possible agreement. So this zone of possible agreement is the point where the buyers and the sellers interest for overlap. So we call it zone of possible agreement. This is the point where the buyer's values are lowered down, where it's a point where the seller values are maximized so that they will be at some common overlapping. We call it ZOPA, or zone of possible agreement. We have BATNA, which is the best alternative to a negotiation agreement. This is a walkaway point. So this is basically the most or the minimum acceptable value that you will negotiate. And sometimes we call it the walkaway point. And there are also constraints associated when we deal with a constraint, that is we have legal constraint, financial constraint, organizational constraint that will limit our negotiation capability. Are you seeing the same slide? Are you seeing analyze the bounds of negotiation slides on your screen? Are you seeing that one? Thank you. Thank you. Okay. So as a project manager, you need to devise a strategy of negotiation and a strategy of execution of that negotiation. So basically, there are two strategies that are expected. That first one, we call it collaboration. When we come to negotiation, you need to negotiate for a win-win basis, mutual gain between the seller and the buyer, because whenever you onboard an individual, an individual negotiate you with a daily rate, an individual negotiate you with a salary, or a vendor or a supplier will negotiate you with the price of material, or a consultant will negotiate you with the level of effort, but we need to collaborate. We need to collaborate on a win-win basis so that we can have a mutual benefit. We as a project team the project will benefit, that activity will be delivered, and that on the other side, the vendor, the supplier, the individual, the project will get paid for every effort they spend to the project. That's a win-win collaboration. And the other sometimes is competitive, basically. It's basically, this is not commonly used methodology, but sometimes strongly used. Basically, we call it a single fixed pie. We have win and lose, but this is not that much recommended sometimes. But the best one is collaborative. So we need to develop a tactic for those strategy, whether you are following a collaborative or competitive strategy. You need to be while negotiating, you need to have the tactic. So basically, from the leadership point of view that we have talked earlier, a project manager should be an active listener, should have an empathy, should focus on interests of the project rather than the positions. So basically, that are the tactics that which a project manager should exhibit during negotiation stage. And the team also on the other side should be involved in negotiation and the discussion, and also they should be the one who provide technical support to the project manager while negotiating. These types of things has to be determined. So how should be the participation and the objective verification should goes on? As I said earlier, we need to have active engagement. The active engagement implies that there should be a transparent communication during the negotiation stage, negotiation process. So the negotiation stage is not one-time activity. It could be the long time-taking activity. So there should be a transparent activity, transparent communication throughout the negotiation. We need to use the litmus test. So basically, when the consensus arrived during the negotiation, the final agreement should best align with the project technical schedule and quality requirement. This should be compliance requirement from the legal side, compliance requirement from the project side. So that should be tested basically. So it doesn't mean that negotiation is having common consensus on the price. It should be conducted with against the litmus test. That agreement that we are supposed to sign should be able to meet with our project's technical stage and qualitative requirements, and also it should be compared with the different elements. So in saying that, the project manager should prioritize, assess the priorities and the ultimate objectives. In saying that, you need to differentiate between must-have and the nice-to-have component of the negotiable components. What are the things that we need to have or as a must, or what are the things that are best to have in a project? So basically, as a project manager, you need to differentiate that. In the exam, you may be given options with the must-have and nice-to-have. So basically, the scenario that will be presented during exams that will have a capability to clarify what are the must-have characters and requirement and nice-to-have requirement. We need to have the ultimate long-term value in the project success. So everything has to be tailored toward this value generation in the project success. So the ultimate objective while negotiation should be value realization, benefit realization. It's not about the lower the cost. With the lower cost, you may have quality complication. We may have a hidden element. So in achieving the project's long-term value and the project success, and managing the lower cost on the other side, there are trade-offs. There are also trade-offs between higher prices and faster delivery, and lower prices and quality elements. So you need to have a trade-off. Such things should be decided by the project manager in collaboration and in consultation with team leaders. So in every case of the negotiation has to be well aligned with what has been stated high level in a project charter in the business case. So this is what we would like to talk about the domain one of the people's domain, which takes about 42% of the exam. Now we move to the third part, that is domain two, the process, which will take about at most 50% of the exam coverage, and it's all about the process. So with this process, we will deal with now from the people's management. We will move to about activities. We will move about how you plan and manage the scopes. How is scope is determined? How is requirement are gathered? How is the work breakdown structure is generated? And how are activities and other parameters are determined? This will be the last thing that we are supposed to cover. Give me some energy. Give me some applause. Give me the intention that you are following, so that I can proceed to the last stage. I will give you a question. If you have question or anything, I will give you in the end. So this will be our last section. Let me give you 1 minute. So are you okay with the content that I have been coming across? Are you following? Are you following attentively? If you have any question, please feel free to place your questions on the chat box. On the chat box. I will share the slides. I will share the slides. I will share the slides. Any question? Any question? Please, if you have any question. Any questions so far? This will be our last presentation. This will be our last topic of discussion. Any question? If you have any question, please feel free to ask. Feel free to ask. Are you following? So I'm having a question, but let me answer it later on. So let's move to the. If you are able to see my slide, let's move to the last part. So that's basically it's all about planning and manage scopes. So before we plan and manage scopes, let's differentiate two things: product scopes and project scopes. Product scopes and project scopes. So basically, product scopes determines about the life cycle of even product. So it deals with about the works that has to be delivered from product generation up to decommissioning of product. But project scopes deal with about activities, the works that the project team shall do or implement during the project activities. We call it the project scope. So the project scopes, according to the exam content outline, the project, the plan and manage the project scopes, we need to deal with about planning the scope management. We need to deal with about requirement collection, defining scopes, create work breakdown structures, and validate the scopes and control the scopes. These are the things that we will deal with in the domain 2. ECO refers to exam content outline. So you know that exam content outline has several domains. So domain 2, it talks about task 8 talks about the plan and manage the scope. So with the plan and manage the scopes, we need to deal with about scope management, requirement collection, basically scope definition and work breakdown structure creation, and finally, when the project goes from planning to the execution, validate scopes and control scopes should be there in monitoring and controlling part. So in saying that, the very basic part of is the plan scope management. With the plan in scope management, what we need to do is that we need to determine how we collect requirements, how we define scopes, how we decompose work breakdown structures, what kind of requirement collection strategy that we should implement in place. So the plan scope management will determine that. So once the plan scope management is determined, the next thing is that we collect requirements. How do we collect requirement? We collect requirement from the stakeholders. So in collecting the requirement, the stakeholders need to be identified first, and stakeholders should be called for meetings, should be gathered together. Then we collect the requirement from the stakeholders. Once the requirements are collected, they should be organized in manageable ways, and we develop a scope out of requirement. So basically, the scope determines what should be delivered within the project going forward, what should be the deliverables, what should be within scopes, and what should be within what should not be within the scope will be determined. Once we determine clearly what should be delivered within the scopes, we need to create a work breakdown structure. We decompose the deliverables into sub-deliverables, so into a manageable way, so that we will be in a lower level where we will be left only activities that are required to deliver that. These are what you need to do during the stage of the planning stage of the project management. So once the planning stage is completed, then when the planning stage is completed and the project goes to the next stage of execution, the same team will do validate the scopes and control the scopes using the project management plan. So on these process groups, we will see how you elicit and analyze requirements. So basically, stakeholders are individuals, group of individuals, institutions who are stake on a project deliverables or a project achievement. So they should be the one who sets the requirements. So basically, you need to be supported by the business analysts who support you in collecting project requirements, who understand the requirements well, who facilitate the requirement gathering, the requirement determinations, who develop clear communication with stakeholders. So there are two types of requirements: functional requirement and non-functional requirement. So functional requirement determines about the core objective, the core activity, the core deliverables of the project. We call them functional requirement. This is the thing that the project is supposed to deliver. Non-functional requirements are basically, we consider them the security requirement, compliance requirement, quality requirement, and environmental requirement, legal requirement. Those are non-functional requirements. Those are kind of requirements that are surrounding the core functionality. Usually the non-functionality requirement in most projects are neglected, but project management determine them as non-functional. They are core part of the requirement. So basically, the functionality requirement is the core requirement that the project has to acquire. How are you supposed to collect the requirement? The requirements are collected through a different elicitation method. We have verbal requirement elicitation methods. We have a graphic requirement elicitation methods. With the verbal requirement elicitation method, we use brainstorming methods. With you try to brainstorm the stakeholders so that they can find the requirements clearly. You can prepare different questionnaires and survey and then deliver it to the stakeholders so that they can answer those surveys and questionnaires. You can take the stakeholders to the benchmarking site and let them expose with the benchmarking scene and then come up with the requirement afterwards. And sometimes when verbal requirement is not elicit, we use a graphic requirement method. We use mind maps. We let the stakeholders to draw maps, flowcharts, context diagrams, and sometimes affiliate diagrams so that can show what are the activity that's been delivered, what functionality that they want to have delivered through the project. So when we talk about requirement, a lot of requirements may come to your project. So as a project manager, once the requirements are collected, they should be balanced. They should be brought into the project objective box. Some requirements may be beyond the project objectives, which may not be achievable or which may not be doable during the expected project durations, and some are may compete you against the existing high-level scopes, the time, the cost, the quality, and also customer satisfaction. So you need to balance while dealing with collecting the requirements. So requirement collection might create also conflicts. We may have a different conflicting requirement. Different departments will get a conflicting requirement. So that requirement has to be managed, solicited. It requires intensive discussion with the different stakeholders, with the different team. Are you guys with me? Are you guys with me? Are you seeing my screen clearly? Give me some reactions. Give me some reactions, please. Are you with me? Are you following? Are you following? Pablo, good. Thank you. Thank you, Wilma. Are you following? Is my voice audible? Is the screen visible? Is the screen visible? Hello, is the screen visible? Good. So basically, you need to resolve conflicts. So with the conflict resolution techniques, we may have conflicting ideas. So how are you supposed to resolve conflicting requirements? So whenever there are conflicting requirements, look back to the charters, look back to the business case, look back to the scope statement, look back to the known project constraint. Those will give you a mechanism where you can manage competing requirements so that you can resolve in order to best comply to the project objectives. So once requirements are gathered, once they are organized into a manageable scopes, so the next thing is, the next core process that you're expecting is to decompose the scopes. We are supposed to create a work breakdown structure. Work breakdown structures are the core. I can tell you from the experience that work breakdown structures are core element of a project. A project without work breakdown structure, I can say you that it will be very difficult to estimate the time, the cost, the quality, the risk. So all activities that will come after are once after you do the work breakdown structures. So the work breakdown structures will come with its own explanation document. We call it a work breakdown dictionaries, because those are work breakdown dictionaries clearly determines information about 360 information about the work package, the scope baseline, so that everyone will be in the same page. So this is the sample figure that show you how the great project is being decomposed. You can see that we have different decompositions. So you can go down, decompose, and then whenever you are in a level where the project can no more decompose, then that will be the stage where we will stop the decomposition, and following that we will have activities that will be following. So decomposition is one of the core activities. So while deal with the work breakdown structures development or decompositions, there are some guidelines which the PMI acknowledge and which we need to follow, because every project is unique. Every project has a unique work breakdown structure. So coming from the different project with the different work breakdown structures, so you need to develop its own guidelines. So the project manager has to create the work breakdown guidelines in collaboration with the team and other stakeholders. These should be clearly stated in scope management plan document. You need to determine to what level of the decomposition that you move down. So that has to be clearly stated. And then what kind of project deliverables included and what not be included in the deliverables has to be recorded. So once you have the work breakdown structure on place, this will give you the work breakdown structure will be an input to the next activity of the project. It will allow you to determine, it will be an input for your activity listing. It will be a great input for network diagram. It will be a great input for resource management. It will be a great input to estimate cost, estimate time. It will be a great input for schedule development. It will be a great input for budgeting. It will be great input for quality management. It will be a great input for risk management. It will be a great input for procurement management, and it will be a great input for project controls. So you see how dependent every of the core project activities are over the work breakdown structure. So a project that does not have a work breakdown structure on the place means that it does not have this capability. So in your project activities, I think you need to have a mechanism to create your work breakdown structure. If you have a work breakdown structure in place, that means if you have a good work breakdown structure in place, that means you will have a great opportunity to list down all of the other activities. So I can say that in this part of the domain, in the process, once we do the requirement gathering, once we develop the scopes, once we decompositions, so you will be have a mechanism where you will have obtain those types of things. So in a predictive approach, we'll follow what we have seen earlier. How about agile? How does agile scope decomposition work? So basically, in agile, product scopes are high level during the product is determined at the high level during the project visioning or project initiation. So at the high level, backlogs, the product backlogs are created. So each backlog will have its own release planning stage. So from that backlog on, the product features are decomposed, and the selected product backlogs features are decomposed into the smaller manageable component. That's how you proceed. So say that this is the requirement. So the requirement will have the second level, the different features, feature A, feature B. So for each features, different story will be created. Different story will be created. So for each story, then we will have a corresponding business rule, acceptable user interface, wireframe, different types of activity. That's how you decompose. For the next requirement, you come back and bring the next requirement and decompose that. That's how you proceed in agile methodology. So once we have a clear work breakdown structure, once we have a clear project management plan document contains activity list, network diagram, resource estimate, scheduling, budgeting, quality risk, and once we believe that the project kickoff, the next stage of the process that should be implemented will be scope validation and control validation. So scope should be controlled. Scope should be validated. Basically, many people, even on the exam, you will be asked, you need to differentiate between scope validation and scope controls. This will be a confusing terminology. The scope is controlled by scope management team, internal team. The scope is validated by the stakeholder themselves. The person who determines the requirement should be the one who validates the scopes. And control the scope means controlling the delivery of the project activities according to the plan, and that has to be managed by basically the project stakeholder. So you need to differentiate the control scopes and validate scopes. So basically, scope is validated at the end when it's delivered to the person who determined the requirement, when it's accepted, when we have accepted delivery, when we are at that stage, we call it validated scope. That should be accomplished by the stakeholders themselves. But control scope is a continuous process. It should be accomplished by the project team during the project execution stage, and then they have to check how the project is performing, how the project activity is accomplished, and it should be done in collaboration with the quality team, just like control quality team. That should be done along with. So what are the methodology and what are the process that will be required to control and validate the scope? So basically, an inspection will be one of the core activity. So the project team during the control scopes process, they will do the inspection. They will gather different data elements, analyze the data. So on the basis of the data, they will do the decision. That decision could result change. So change should be acknowledged by the change advisory board. Then the project management plan has to be updated, amended. So this is basically the procedure requires inspection of the delivery, inspection of the quality, inspection of the project scope, inspection of way of doing, and that has to be inspected whenever something is observed as a violation. Change requests will be triggered, data will be collected, data will be analyzed, data will enable us to see how the project is progressed, and data will enable us to forecast. You have seen, you have learned about earned value management, earned value analysis. That will allow you also to perform data analysis and adjust the project. And finally, on the basis of the data gathered, on the basis of the inspection, decision will take place. So based on the decision, project change over the project will happen. So whenever there is a violation of a project scopes, whenever there is a project is not controlled as per the plan, whenever the project is not validated as per the plan, and changes will be happen. And in agile environment, I think controlling, verifying happen every time when there is iteration, for every iteration. So we'll have controlling validation activities will be take place. But for the predictive waterfall, whenever something is delivered, validation happens. But controlling is a continuous process. So we are now at the end stage. So what will be the aim of the scope validation is that the project management plan and documents will be updated. That is, whenever if there is a change, then change will pressure the project management plan document to be updated. And also, when things go as per the plan, we will be on the right track. We will be on a great project success. But whenever we are out of control, when the stakeholders cannot validate the scope according to the requirements, so this will trigger validation. So this will be the end of the topics. So I thank you very much for your time. Now this will be a moment of question and answer. So yes, the recorded video will be placed on YouTube on the PMI, I think the PMI channel. So if you have any question, please feel free to ask. But before that, I want you to give me your reaction, how you find it, how you feel it, how you got it. Because I am given a specific topics, so I tailor my presentation slide against those topics. I understand that you may have a lot of questions. Let me have your applause, and then I will proceed to responding your questions. I'm going to share the slides. I think I'm not sharing on chat room. So any question? So somebody asked about budgeting. I think he just clearly addressed it by himself because it's not the topic of today's discussion. And then other person, Yvonne, asked what are the best tips for motivating the project teams? Yes, I think there are different approach of motivation for the project team, and there are different approach that will be required that are required by the project management to the project manager to be executed. So the first basic thing I would say is that it depends on the project team, it depends on project environment, it depends on the project nature. So the motivation has to be early strategized so that the project team should be on board. So other question is that coming from Yvonne is that how to make the best trade-off between scope, budget, time in order to meet the project requirement. I think in a previous project management, we call them, those are the triple constant. They should be managed, and they should be managed basically if we are in a predictive environment. Be clearly determined early at the stage of the planning, while the adaptive trade-off is that then depending on the project management methodology that you will use, I would say you can strictly manage in planning stage. So somebody said recording will stop in 2 minutes, few minutes ago. So Bogale, I think he had a comment. It's all about the comment about me. Yeah. Grace, thank you. Yilma, thank you. Todaj, thank you. Yvonne, another question? Yes. I think stakeholder management, it may be another topic. Maybe somebody will cover it or I will cover it in the short run. As I said, one of the core things is that managing the stakeholders. How you manage, the first thing is you identify the stakeholders. The next thing is you understand them, yes, and you analyze them. While doing the analyze, you analyze the stakeholder depending on power and the internal matrix. And based on the high power, high interest, low power, low interest, high power, low interest, low power, high interest category classification, you devise the strategy. So that's how you move on. So the strategy depends on the project types, the project urgency, the project manager, the project political environment, the project's operational environment. Thank you, Antenna. Thank you again. Thank you, Francis. Here, a question: what comes first, control scopes and validate scopes? I think control scope come first because it should be controlled as per the plan. Once are controlled as per the plan, then it will be delivered. Once it's delivered, then it should be validated by the stakeholder. In the end, then it will be accepted. Wycliffe, thank you very much. Dabil, thank you. Anyone who has a question, please feedback. So I think we have a lot of people here today. Are you following? Are you here with me?
Yes, Eskinder, we are with you. Can you hear me?
Can you show? You there? Hello? Good.
Hello, Eskinder, can you hear me?
Yes, I do hear you now.
Okay, great. Thank you. Thank you very much, Eskinder, for this excellent delivery. I won't say much because the comments are flowing with much appreciation. We are just sad that the session is just ending so soon. But I want to give the assurance to our entire audience, all the candidates, that we'll have Eskinder again during our next cohorts, even though we've not yet aligned with him, but I know that by default he has already accepted. Just for the side notes, I was with Eskinder, I think last 2 weeks here in Ethiopia during the chapter president meeting session. Ethiopia hosted us. And yeah, it was also a great moment, a great session to see that despite the fact that he's being engaged with building a community, he's also sharing new knowledge. So please feel free to connect with him on LinkedIn. Feel free also to connect with him via WhatsApp. We cannot attend to all questions today, but I can guarantee you that is available to address your questions beyond this session. So, Eskinder, thank you very much. Thank you very much for your delivery, for your expertise. Thank you again for your time. And on these notes, I want to wish best luck to those who are writing this week and also next week, but to also let the entire audience know that we are meeting on Thursday again with another expert to also deep dive into another domain. So on this note, let me say good night to everyone and see you next time. See you on Thursday. Eskinder, thank you very much and have a blessed night.